The walls of South Africa's parliament shook not from noise, but from the weight of accusations and counter-accusations when Helen Zille launched her fierce attack on President Cyril Ramaphosa. Her fiery speech, loaded with allegations of concealed scandals and failed leadership, instantly became the centerpiece of political debate across the country. Yet in the aftermath, South Africans have been left grappling with a far bigger question: was Zille speaking the truth, or was it a carefully calculated political trap designed to weaken Ramaphosa at a critical time? During her address, Zille painted Ramaphosa as a leader hiding behind polished speeches and sealed records, accusing him of allowing corruption to thrive in the shadows of his presidency. She brought up the CR17 campaign funding controversy, pointing to the hidden donor lists and raising suspicions about whether big business interests had quietly shaped his rise to the highest office. She also revisited the Phala Phala farm scandal, accusing the president of dodging accountability and misleading the public. With each revelation, she struck at the very foundation of the New Dawn narrative Ramaphosa once promised. But almost as quickly as her words landed, critics and supporters alike began asking, why now? Why Helen Zille? Some political analysts argue that Zille was delivering nothing more than a long overdue truth. To them, her speech resonated because it voiced frustrations many South Africans already feel, that Ramaphosa's presidency has been characterized by hesitation, compromise, and an unwillingness to confront corruption within his own party. In this reading, Zille's words were less an attack and more an act of political honesty, exposing the cracks in the president's carefully managed image. However, others see a more strategic motive at play. Zille, a seasoned political operator, has never been one to act without calculation. For her critics, the speech was not about unmasking the president, but about shifting the spotlight and placing Ramaphosa on the defensive as the DA positions itself ahead of upcoming elections. By framing the ANC's leader as weak and compromised, Zille may have been attempting to tilt the national conversation in favor of the opposition, forcing voters to reconsider their loyalty to the ruling party. Adding to the suspicion is Zille's choice of timing. Ramaphosa is already facing immense pressure from within his own party, where factional battles threaten his authority. By amplifying those doubts in public, Zille may have been trying to destabilize him further, widening the cracks in ANC unity and making the ruling party appear vulnerable. But there's also another angle, one that suggests Zille's speech could backfire. Some ANC loyalists have already rallied behind Ramaphosa, claiming that Zille's attack was nothing more than a political trap, a desperate attempt to weaponize unresolved scandals for cheap political points. They argue that the DA, unable to shake off its own image problems, is using Zille's credibility to launch a high-risk offensive that could end up strengthening Ramaphosa's support among sympathetic voters who see him as unfairly targeted. Public opinion, however, remains deeply divided. On social media, many South Africans applauded Zille's bluntness, praising her for saying what others feared to say in Parliament. Others warned that the spectacle of yet another political brawl does little to solve the nation's urgent crises: unemployment, load shedding, and collapsing municipalities. Perhaps the most telling part of the story is Ramaphosa's own reaction. True to his reputation, he avoided direct confrontation, responding in measured tones and dismissing Zille's claims as politically motivated. For some, his calmness showed strength. For others, it confirmed Zille's central accusation, that he prefers silence and compromise over decisive action. In the end, the question remains unresolved: was Helen Zille unmasking the truth about Ramaphosa's leadership, or was she laying a political trap, hoping to corner him in a battle of perception rather than policy? What is clear is that her attack has reignited national debate, forcing citizens to re-examine both the president's record and the motives of those who challenge him. Whether truth-teller or tactician, Zille has ensured one thing: Ramaphosa's leadership will no longer be viewed in the same light. And as South Africa edges closer to a defining election, the nation must now decide: do they see in Zille's words a reflection of truth, or the shadow of a political game?